it has been a struggle to speak what is on my mind. Not because of the way that I speak, but because of the way that people listen. And if I had you to believe that this is really how I speak, you would be deceived. See, let me apologize in advance that I don't have an exciting story to tell of fleeing religious persecution or chasing a life of riches and fame. There was no love story involved in our coming to America. We simply came. All my life I've had the joy of having to watch folks' face fall because I don't fit the description of West African according to what they've seen from Eddie Murphy in Arsenio Hall. But seeing as I had yet to see my second birthday when we first touched soil in the US of A, I was far too small to recall that anything had even changed at all. And I rarely even go into this much detail because the response I got when I was little was, "Wow, you speak English so well." I mean, I know I don't look or sound the part. I'm not quite daughter of the village chief enough, riding elephants through the streets enough, carrying heavy loads and walking down dirt roads enough. Enough. But I was token black enough to have it bad while growing up. In Midwest suburbia, I've got many stories I could tell of how their mouths just hung open in surprise from any time I opened mine and they would gasp, "Wow, you speak English so well, you're not like other black people," as if that was a compliment. Scrambling to make sense of such a spectacle sometimes beckons such dumb retorts as, "My, how I was pleasantly surprised. Sounds like you got a little white on the inside. Maybe you could teach us about black life. Come on, teach us about black life. What's really good in the hood?" I don't claim to know about life in the hood, but I do know about life in the South, and I didn't expect in the move down there that folks would just stare like I had them under some kind of a spell. "Wow, you speak English so well" was truly the nicer of responses, but by now, I'm tired of attempting to sound more down, my brother, and not sound like a so-called sellout, corny and lame, not sound like I'm from a different world, but just like how Whitley fell for Dwayne, my verbal expressions may not be what you expected, but there's a story behind it. And that story is wrapped up in the storytelling stylings of Toni Morrison, the eloquence found in the songs of Solomon, the literary expertise of Dr. King, and the abstract creativity of Shakespeare that made me want to dance with words. My African-American vernacular used to make me wish I had a trumpet, a whistle, a bell, to sound off every time I heard the inevitable, "Wow, you speak English so well." I've seen the signs, I've read between the lines, and if the differences in our speech is cause for my authenticity to constantly be under scrutiny, then that's just what it'll have to be. It did back then, but now it no longer bothers me because I've since come to grips with being something of a cultural anomaly. I've since come to grips with the snickers and the whispers. I've since come to grips with the fact that God never intended for me to fit in. Yes, there are black people right here in Colorado. Yes, the conglomeration of unusual sounds that is my name is in another language. No, it is not Ebonics. Yes, I'm technically first generation, and no, I've never been back. No, I can't speak a lick of my mother's mother tongue, and if one more person makes those dumb clicking sounds at me with their tongue. No, I don't speak African, nor do I speak white, but I do speak a little Spanish, and sometimes I daydream, and most times I dream of the day I can do away with the anxiety that comes when the ambiguity in my speech prompts someone to ask, "So, where are you from?"